there, my name's Jen. So today I'm going to offer a quick class, maybe 30 minutes, geared towards athletes, especially those who have tight hips, tight shoulders, maybe tight hamstrings, tightness in the chest, your pec muscles. I've had a couple requests, specifically from some who are into martial arts, football players. So this will be a good practice for anyone who is in that boat. Or if you're just really tight and need to stretch. The only prop that we're going to use is a strap. Now, there are moments when maybe you could use a block if you have one at home, but because most people at home don't have all the props that we have in the studio, I've chosen to show you how to do those poses without blocks. But we're definitely going to need a strap. So if you don't have a yoga strap, a belt works great, a necktie works great, a scarf works great, really anything that you can hold long and steady. So let's get started. We're going to get started in an easy seated position. Have your mat near a wall. So we're going to do some poses towards the end of class where we use the wall. So mat up against the wall or close to the wall. And we're just going to start in an easy seat. And that literally is any seat that you can sit in comfortably with a long spine. If you're not used to sitting like this, it might be a little uncomfortable at first. If you have that wall behind you, you could scoot up to the wall and let your back rest against the wall. Find your sit bones. Sometimes you gotta kind of rock around and dig in. Roll your shoulders down your back. Place your hands anywhere that's comfortable. Close your eyes. And breathe. Just start to notice how your breath enters and exits the body. What is the quality of your breath today? Can you start to find some evenness in your breath? Take an inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Even the breath, steady the breath. We want to make sure that when we're breathing, our shoulders aren't moving up and down with our breath. The body is still. Let's take 5 more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. 2. 3. 4. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Your eyes are closed open. Just start to roll the shoulders, maybe one and then the other. Maybe your back's a little sore, so you just kind of make some movements that feel good. All right. Maybe roll your head around, just start to loosen up. Very nice. So I want you to grab whatever you're using as a strap today. We're going to start practice by doing a little shoulder flossing. We're going to do a couple of arm stretches before we start our movement. And so when we shoulder floss, let me turn this so you can see me. You want whatever you're holding on to be just a little bit wider than your shoulders, and you will know if you need to adjust this when we get moving here. We're going to take the strap, the belt, the scarf, whatever you have, down towards your knees. Now we're going to come up overhead and go around the back. Now if you get up overhead and you're struggling and shaking, widen your strap out. Make it wider. We want to make this a fluid motion. Keep going. Oh, that feels really good because my shoulders are super tight. I'm a yogi, but I am more of a power yogi, which means that I have quite a bit more strength than flexibility, say. Say my shoulders, my hips, my legs get tight. Let's keep going. Now at any time during this practice you're doing something that just does not feel right, adjust yourself or just stop altogether. And remember, there is a difference between pain and being uncomfortable. Let's do a couple more sets. Even though I could do this forever because it feels so good. The next time you come overhead, I want you to stay there. We're going to lean over to the right. So I want you to press up with the left hand, pull with the right. Come back up. Lean to the left, pull down with the left hand, reach up with the right hand. Come up. Let's do that one more time. Lean over to the right. So we're trying to pull that strap apart, almost like you're trying to break it in the middle. Come up. Lean to the left. Come up. Bring it down. Roll those shoulders out. For the next arm stretch, you can use that strap again. This is going to be called cow face pose. So I'm actually going to turn around so you can see my back. And this is going to show you how we do this. For cow face pose, the idea is to grab your fingertips behind your back. Right? Not everyone can do that, so we're going to use our strap. You're going to place your strap, your scarf, your towel, whatever you have in your right hand. Take your right arm up, bend the right elbow, reach around with the left hand, grab the object or fingertips if you can reach, and start to crawl your fingers towards each other. Now, when you get there, stay there. One important thing to remember is that we're not hunching over while we're doing this. We want to open that chest up. We want to stretch those shoulders. We want to stretch the area around the armpits. Stay open. And breathe. One more. And release. Let's do the other side. And this time you're going to take your object, if you're using one, in the left hand. Take the left arm up. Bend the left elbow. Reach around with the right hand. Grab the object. I'll turn around so you can see. Start to walk your fingers closer to each other. I am much, much, much tighter on this side, so my hands do not even get close to one another. That's okay. I'm still going to send my chest forward. I'm going to roll that right shoulder back, and I'm going to get a great stretch in my shoulders. When you're stretching, the important thing to remember is that you don't push too far because you'll hurt yourself. And breathe. One more breath. And release. We're going to set the strap to the side for right now. Let's roll those arms out. Do whatever you need to do, all right? That was pretty intense for me, so I'm just going to kind of work it out. All right, let's start focusing on the hips. I want you to bring your feet together, knees apart. So you may not be able to get your heels in this close to your midline. You may be out here, and that is completely fine as long as you feel the stretch in your inner thighs. So I'm going to move in just a little bit so I can feel that stretch. Now I want you to grab hold of your legs wherever you can. If you're out wide and you can only grab hold of your knees, perfect. If you're closer and can grab hold of your ankles, perfect. If you can grab your big toes, awesome. Again, long spine, heart forward. We don't want to hunch over. We're going to fold over, but not quite yet. Let the knees fall heavy. Maybe your feet begin to open up like a book. And breathe. You may notice that you are holding a lot of tension in the knees, the feet, the hips. If you are, try to let go of a little bit of that tension. Try to just soften down into it a little bit more. Now I want you to release whatever you're holding on to and start to walk the hands forward. Even if your feet are out farther, you can still walk the hands forward. It's going to deepen that stretch in the inner thighs. When you've gone as far as you can go, stop. Let your chin fall towards your chest. Notice that every time you inhale, it sort of stretches out those inner thighs. Every time you exhale, you may be able to sink just a little bit deeper down into the pose. And walk yourself up. Take your legs long. Let's do a quick little fold before we come to hands and knees. Inhale your arms up. Now I want you to very much soften those knees, make some unbent, and fold over the legs. Now, the point here is not to reach as hard as you can and grab those feet. It's to very gently fold over the legs. If you need to walk your legs up, if your hamstrings are very, very tight, you can do that. Find what works for you. Deep inhale. Long exhale. Roll yourself up. And let's come onto hands and knees. This is tabletop position. When we get into tabletop position, we want our fingers spread really wide. We want our wrists to be right under our shoulders, our knees to be under our hips. We want to tuck our tail a little bit, lift our heart so that our core engages. Press into your thumb and your index finger more than your other fingers. That's going to take some of the weight off your wrist. In your tabletop position, we're going to do a couple cats and cows, good for the back. So I want you to take an inhale, press the mat away. Round the back, send the chin down to the chest. Drop the belly, take the tail up. Take your gaze to where the ceiling and the wall meets. Let your belly hang heavy. Inhale. Exhale around the back. Inhale. Exhale, drop the belly. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Up. And down. Do one more of each. Up. And down. Come back to that neutral tabletop, that long spine. I want you to take your knees just a little bit farther apart than they were. Toes just a little closer together. They're not touching. I want you to take your left hand right under your heart. Spread your fingers wide. Take your right arm up to the sky for a twist. Now we're going to do something called thread the needle. I want you to take this right hand, slide it underneath you. You're going to come down onto your right shoulder. Your left arm can go out overhead. You can wrap it around your back. You can just let your forearm sit on the mat. So all your weight's going to come down onto that right shoulder. So just breathe here. We're going to slide that left hand under the left shoulder, press into the hand, bring the right arm back up to the sky for that twist. Let's do the other side. Right hand's going to come under the heart, fingers spread wide. Left arm's going up towards the sky, twist. Thread the needle. We're going to take this left arm, we're going to slide it behind the right arm, come down onto your left shoulder. That right arm can go out, around, or it can just sit here. Again, letting weight fall onto that left shoulder. Slide that right hand back under the right shoulder. We're going to press into it. Lift yourself up. Your left arm's going back up to the sky. Bring the left hand down under the shoulder. Now I want you to take your knees even wider towards the edge of the mat. Let your big toes touch. Sink your hips back towards your heels. Walk your arms out. This is a wide leg child's pose. Big hip stretch. Now, if this is too much on your hips, you can bring your knees all the way together. You can bring them together a little bit. I really like wide leg child's pose, so I'm going to hang out there. Relax into it. With every inhale, I want you to fill up your back. With every exhale, allow yourself to sink deeper. Allow your hips to become heavier, pressing towards the heels. Deep inhale. Long exhale. Start to walk your hands towards your knees. Bring your knees together for hero's pose. Now, hero's pose can be incredibly uncomfortable for some people. If you have any pillows at home, if you have blocks at home, if you have anything you can sit on, you can place them underneath your tail and raise yourself up so you don't have such a bend in the knees. If all of that's unavailable, you can come into just a plain, easy seated position. Inhale your arms up, let your palms touch. Exhale to your arms. We're going to take eagle arms here, another stretch for the shoulders, the back. Take your right arm, cross it under your left so that you've made an X. Bend your elbows, backs of the palms together. You can stay right here, or you can wrap the palms to where the palms are together. Elbows forward, fingertips up. You should feel a big stretch in your upper back. If this is completely inaccessible to you, you're going to give yourself a bear hug. So if you're in eagle arms, stay right here. If you're having some trouble, come back to that X, and then I want you to grab opposite shoulders and start to pull the elbows forward and up. So eagle arms or bear hug, whichever one you can do. One more breath. Release. Roll it out. Arms down by your side. Inhale the arms up, palms touch. To your arms, we're going to do the other side. Cross the left arm under the right, so you've made your X again. You're either going to take your bear hug here, grabbing opposite shoulders, or you're going to bend the elbows so that the palms, or the backs of the hands are touching. If you can wrap, we're going to wrap so that the palms of the hands touch. Whatever you're doing, send your elbows forward, fingertips up. If you're bear hugging, elbows forward, elbows up. Release, roll it out. Let's come back into our tabletop position. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Walk your hands one handprint forward. Curl those toes under. You're going to come into a downward facing dog. Start to lift the knees, lift the hips up so that you look like a triangle, I guess, without a bottom. The back's around them. Hips are high. Spread your fingers wide. When you get into your downward facing dog, pedal it out. That just means walking dog. Stretching the backs of the legs out. Head is heavy. When you think you've stretched that dog out enough, settle into it. I want you to roll your armpits towards your cheeks and press the mat away. Make your arms really long. Tip forward into a plank position. From your plank, drop down to your knees. We're going to come into a cobra pose. Flip the feet over, drop the belly, drop the hips down, heart forward. Come back into that sort of tabletop. Our hands are still farther out. Curl the toes under, down dog. We're going to do that a couple more times. From your downward facing dog, tip forward into your plank. Drop to your knees, flip the feet over, drop the hips, heart forward, cobra pose. Make sure the shoulders are away from the ear, hearts are forward. Hips are up, we're in that tabletop with our hands a little farther in front. Curl the toes under, downward facing dog. Let's do it one more time. Tip forward into your plank. Drop to the knees, flip the feet over, drop the hips, heart up, cobra pose. Tabletop. Send your hips back to your heels for a plank, child's pose, sorry. Take your arms down by your side, roll your wrists out. Especially if you do not have a everyday yoga practice, your wrists may be a little sore. So just let them rest. They'll get stronger. Downward facing dog. We're going to come back to that tabletop. Walk the hands forward. Take the hips up. I want you to send your right leg towards the wall behind you. This is called a three-legged dog. Bend that left knee as much as you need to, all right? It's a big stretch in that left leg. We're going to bring that right foot in between the hands. Now, you may be thinking, how the hell am I supposed to do that, right? You might get right here. You may have to pick that foot up and help it up, all right? Drop your left knee down. This may be a whole lot on your hips, all right? If this is a whole lot on your hips, bring your hands up to your knees. If it's still a whole lot on your hips, you can walk that left knee in a little bit so you're not pressing the hips down so much. Wherever you're at, let those hips sink. Breathe. If your hands are on your knees, bring them back down to your mat. Start to walk the hands back and straighten your right leg for a hamstring stretch. Now, again, if your hamstrings are real tight, I'm going to move this arm so you can see it. You may need to keep a little bit of a bend in your right knee. Let's make sure, though, that we're not locking that knee up. We're not pressing into the back of the knee. Come forward. We are going to do something called opening our lizard. So I want your left hand to be on the inside of your right foot. Back toe can be curled under or flat, doesn't matter. This right hand is going to start to reach behind. My right knee is going to start to open up. My left hip's going to start to go down. Holy stretch in my outer thigh now. Lizard lunge. We're going to bring this right hand back, place the right foot back on the mat. Both hands are going to go on the inside of the right foot. Now, same rule applies here. If this is hella too much stretch, you can walk that left knee in some if you need to. If you need more stretch, keep walking it back. If you need even more stretch, you can come down onto your forearms. This is a lot, okay? I don't love this. A lot of people do love this. Not a huge fan, I am. So I'm gonna come back onto the palms of my hands. If you find that all of the modifications I've given you are still a lot and you need a little more help, you can grab something to put under your hands. Usually I would use blocks in yoga class, but we don't have any because we're at home. Maybe you do, I don't know. I've used pots before. I've used jars of peanut butter, because I love peanut butter, got a lot of it. Pillows, whatever you can find. Take one more breath here. All right, I want you to curl your left toes under, lift your left knee up. Oh, that feels much better. We're gonna step the left foot up to the outside of the left hand, and we're gonna sink into a Sphinx pose. I'm actually gonna do it from this way so you can see what I'm doing. Now, this is Sphinx pose. All right, again, this is not accessible to everyone, so you may be up a little higher. I don't care where you're at as long as your knees are open and you're feeling that stretch in your inner thighs. Have a seat. Bring the knees together. We're gonna roll down to our back for just a minute. Bring your knees into your chest and let's rock back and forth from right to left or left to right, doesn't matter. I like to roll my ankles out here, wiggle my toes a little bit. I want you to make your way back to that tabletop position. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Walk the hands up one handprint. Downward facing dog, hips up. Lift your left leg to the sky for a three-leg dog. Right leg, knee can be bent if you need it to. We want to make sure here that we're not opening the hip up. This is open hip. We want our hips to be aligned with each other. Bring the left foot through. Remember, if you can't get it all the way through, you're going to help it up there. Right knee's coming down. This is our low lunge. This is called Anjane Asana. Now remember from the other side, if you need to bring that right knee in, bring it in. If you need to bring your hands up to your knees, bring them up. If you're feeling real unstable, you can curl the right toes under. We're going to make this work for you. Wherever you're at, let those hips sink down. Walk the hands back, straighten the left leg. Again, if you need to, I'm going to move my hand again. If you need to take a little bend in that left knee, if this is where you're at, totally fine, all right? Just make sure your left knee isn't stiff, the left ankle isn't stiff. My toes are pointed up, but I'm not forcefully pointing them back. I don't feel this in my calf, I feel this in my hamstring. We're going to come back to that bend in our left knee. We're going to open our lizard. Right hand's going down. This left arm is going to reach for the back wall. I'm going to open my left knee. My right hip's going to fall towards the right side of the mat. Big inhale. Exhale. Bring that left hand back onto the inside of the left foot for a lizard lunge. Walk that left foot over, make some space for your body. Again, all the options from the other side. If you need to slide that right knee up, and this is what your lizard looks like, do it. If you don't feel enough stretch, you need to take it back more, do it. If you need even more stretch, you can come down onto the forearms. Do what works. curl our right toes under, lift our knee up. We're going to step up to that yogi squat again, our malasana. You're going to step the right foot on the outside of the right hand. Sink down. Remember, you might be up here. I have plenty of students that hang out up here. I got students that go down here. Doesn't matter as long as you're pressing those knees open. Instead of coming down onto our back, you're going to lift the hips up, bring the feet together, and you're going to come into a forward fold position. And just hang out here. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Slowly rise up. And grab your stirrup. So we're going to do something called chest expansion. It's going to open our chest. It's going to stretch our shoulders. A lot of people can do this without a strap. I need a strap because I have tight shoulders. So you're going to take your hands behind your back. You're going to grab the strap. Let me get closer. So just grab the strap. Some people can interlace their hands. Again, that does not work for me, so I use a strap when I do this. Take your feet just a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. You're going to roll the shoulder blades together. Send the heart up. Inhale. On your exhale, we're going to fold and we're going to take that strap up. Oh, I have to widen mine a little bit because it's very hard on my shoulders. Oh, there we go. All right. So it's sort of like reverse shoulder flossing, I guess. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Let gravity do its thing here. Come back up. I just want you to keep holding on to that strap if you have it. Let your shoulders settle. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, roll the shoulders forward. Exhale, fold down. Let gravity do its thing. Rise up. Release the strap. You're going to come back to it in just a minute. Come on up. Inhale your arms up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. We haven't done this yet. Slide your hands onto your shins or your thighs. You're going to press your hands into your thighs. Make your spine really long. Plant your hands. Step back to your plank. We're going to lower all the way down to our bellies. Sphinx pose. Little back bend, little heart opener. All right, you're going to put your forearms flat on the mat. Elbows under the shoulders this time. Fingers spread wide. Press the forearms into the mat. Now, forearms are on the mat. Press down. They're not going anywhere. They're solid. They're stable. I want you to press your elbows towards your ribs and see if your heart grows forward and up. So you're not actually moving the forearms, but you're pressing the elbows towards the ribs. It's like you're trying to pull your body up towards the top of the mat. Three, two, one. Release. Take the arms down by the side if it feels good. Let the shoulders round. From here, we're going to do a little quad stretch. Now, I like to place my left forearm sort of at a diagonal. I'm going to bend my right knee. I'm going to grab my right foot. I'm going to pull that heel in. I can stretch freakishly well in this situation, so I have to even hook my toes around my elbow. If you can't reach, grab your strap, loop your foot around your strap, pull it in. You want to feel a stretch in that right quad. Again, you may be here and you may be feeling all that stretch. Again, I'm just freakishly flexible in my very meaty quads. I don't understand. One more breath. Release it. Let's do the other side. You're going to put that right forearm down a diagonal. Bend the left knee, reach around, grab that foot. If you can't reach, use your strap. Start to pull that left heel in towards the tail. I'm going to get into my elbow here so I can feel that stretch. And breathe. One more breath. And release. Come back down, all the way down. Arms down by the side, let the back settle. Bring the hands under the shoulders. We're going to come up into our tabletop pose. And we're going to press back into a child's pose very slowly. You never want to move the back from bent to round quickly, very slowly. And rise up into a high kneel. We're going to do a camel pose. So there's lots of different ways to do a camel. I'm going to show you two different ways. I'm not going to take you into a deep camel because most likely your back's tight. All right, so you have two options here. You can bring your hands to your hips, or you can place your hands in what I like to call the imaginary back pockets. Unless you have real back pockets, then stick them in there. Feet. Feet can be flat, or you can curl the toes under. I'm going to curl the toes under. In our camel, I'm going to bring my hands back to my hips. You're going to start sending your hips forward, heart towards the sky, gaze towards the sky. This is a back bend. The most important thing here is you want to keep pressing those hips forward. And release. Come into a hero's pose for just a moment. Let everything settle. Not one thing, all things settle here. We're going to do our last couple poses at the wall. So we're going to start with an intense shoulder stretch on the wall. So for our intense shoulder stretch, let's do the right side first. So you can sit however you want to. I'm in a hero's pose. You can come to an easy seated position, whatever works. My right side is facing the wall. I'm going to take my right arm up and then back. I'm going to scoot my chest a little closer to the wall. From here, I'm going to start sliding my right shoulder forward until I feel a good stretch in that right arm. I'm walking my arm up just a little bit because I can feel more stretch that way. So really just kind of work it out. Figure out where the sweet spot is, okay? You're going to feel this from the top of your arm all the way down the inside towards the inside of the elbow. Your hand may start to feel a little tingly. It's because essentially we've cut off the energy flowing to the right arm, the blood flowing to the right arm. We've cut it off, and when we release, we're going to have this rush, new blood, new oxygen, new everything. It's going to be quite lovely. Big inhale. Exhale. Bring the arm up. And release. Feel all the fresh. All right, let's do the other side. So I'm going to turn myself around so that my left side faces the wall. Left arm's going up, and then I'm going to reach it back. I'm going to get myself a little bit closer to the wall, and I'm going to start to send my left shoulder forward. Now again, I'm going to find my sweet spot. Where does it feel really, really stretchy? 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, bring that arm up. Place the hand down. Feel all the goodness running back into the arms. Up next is puppy pose. So we're not holding these poses very long just for time's sake for the video, but I encourage you to hold some of these stretches a little longer if you can. It's going to feel great, but don't jump right into one stretch after another. Give yourself a moment to sort of recover, just like the arms, how we had to let everything rush back in. Give everything a chance to rush back in. All right, puppy pose on the wall. You're gonna place your hands on the wall. So I am probably about 2 feet away from the wall, and I may have to adjust. You're gonna place your hands on the wall, right in front of your shoulders. Now walk the hands up, and you're gonna start to send the chest towards the wall. Now I can go back a little bit farther. Start to let the chest melt down towards the floor until you feel that really, 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 really great stretch in your armpits, top of the chest, upper back, maybe even towards the middle part of your back. We're going to hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come out of it. I love that one. All right, give yourself a minute to recover from it. We have 2 more stretches left. Figure 4 on the wall, which is one of my favorite things to do on the wall, and then cloud pose for our back. So we're going to be doing a little shifting here, but let's start with figure 4 on the wall. So if you are familiar with yoga practice, pigeon pose this is a modification for pigeon pose. I tend to sort of like it on the wall more because I can relax into it better. You can slide your tail all the way up to the wall, put your legs up the wall. Now what I also love about this is it really gives my lower back a chance to settle, my sacrum to settle down into the floor, to root. Cross your right ankle above your left knee if you can. Start to slide that left heel down. Now, you may get here and go, bingo, stretching, love it, stay. You may need to come in a little more. The only thing I ask is that you don't push on the wall so hard that you start to slide yourself to the top of your mat. You should feel this in your outer right hip. So again, just for time's sake for the video, we're not going to stay in this pose as long as we should, but I encourage you to, after this video is done, stay or to even pause the video, stay here for a while, and then come back and finish up. We're going to hold this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release both legs off the wall. Give that right leg a chance to recover. Other side, left ankle's going to cross above the right knee. Slide the right heel down the wall. As soon as you feel the intensity of the stretch, stop. You don't have to take the foot all the way down. Especially if you press down and maybe you do this. Back off. Take the tail down. Or if you slide up, back off. So of course you can also do this just lying on the floor, but I love the wall as a prop. There are walls everywhere we go, right? Use them. Unless it's the walls you build inside yourself, like around your heart and shit like that, knock those down, okay? No good. These walls, good. Those walls, bad. Stay here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. one, release. I'm actually going to throw in one more pose while we're here. Let's do a straddle split on the wall. Start to let the legs open up. I think one of my feet are going to go outside the screen. That's okay. You get the idea. Now, I want you to immediately release tension in the inner thighs, release tension in the knees, release tension in the ankles and the feet. And gravity's going to do its thing here. All you got to do is enjoy that stretch going up the insides of your legs. Or not enjoy it, just be here because it's good for you. We're going to make our way off the wall, so you can do that however you need to do it. I'm just going to swing one leg over and come on around. Again, I encourage you to stay in those stretches longer or come back to them if you can. They're really, really good. Final one, cloud pose. This is a big back stretch, and I imagine for my jiu-jitsu friends, this is for you. This whole video is for you, really. But I imagine you get yourself into these situations. Wrestlers probably get themselves into these situations. So let's stretch out in a way that I feel like y'all get into these poses. Plow pose. Plow pose on out there on the floor, hate it. Plow pose on the wall. Plow pose on the wall, my jam. Okay. So I may be too far away from the wall. You might be too close to the wall. We'll figure it out when we get there, all right? We'll do it together. You're going to lie on your back and you're going to take your legs up to the sky. Now, we all used to do this move when we were kids, right? I want you to come up onto your hips, take your legs behind you, but I want you to find the wall. I want you to start walking yourself down. Now, my knees should not be so bent. I could maybe do to slide up a little bit, but I'm not. I'm just going to hang out here. And really what this does is it stretches the whole back out. Maybe you play with it a little bit. I'm super too close to the wall, but again, I'm just going to chill here because it actually feels good. It feels good right here. So let's hold this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Let's take a long stretch. Legs long, arms long. Let your back arch, opposite direction. Bring your left knee into your chest. Squeeze it in. Let's twist. So you're going to take this left knee and let it fall over to the right, leg to the left. Bring the left knee back. Take your leg long. Bring your right knee in. Squeeze it in. Let it roll over to the left side. Look to the right into your arm. Come back. Bring both knees in and make your way to a seat. And that's it. I hope you have enjoyed our time together. I do not know if this actually became a long or a short class. Again, if you're an athlete, these are some great stretches to work on the hips, the shoulders, the back. I'll have another video coming that's going to focus a little more on the hamstrings, the IT band, so stay tuned for that. Do the stretches, hold them a little bit longer. Maybe jot down some of the stuff we did. You don't have to do it on this video with me. Just do them, right? Loosen up in the hips, the shoulders. Be the best that you can be at whatever that thing is that you do. Rock and roll, kick ass. Thank you. Namaste.